Mic check 1, 2. Oh, why does it look so dark? Give me 1 second. While I'm fixing this, can you all let me know if there is audio happening? I just want to make sure that you all can hear me and we're not experiencing any issues. Give me 1 second here, everybody, please. Welcome, though. Appreciate everyone being here. Audio's good? Okay, great. Okay, let me fix this camera really quick because it's a little dark. Let me just try to adjust this. Why is it so dark? This is not what I'm trying to do. 1 second. Okay, there we go. It's a little bright. Okay. Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another live stream. Today is Sunday, March 3rd. Can't believe we're already in March. Spring is coming. Today here in Chicago, it was like almost 70 degrees, and everyone was out by the lake and just out in general. It was great. It's a great walk for me this morning. I was doing some other work today too, and it was just so nice out. It was amazing. But while we're here and while we're at it, I have one question for you. People who watch me regularly probably know what this question is going to be, but my question to you is, are you waiting till Monday? By me asking that, I'm asking you, did you not do the things you intended to do when it comes to your health? Did you say, well, it's the weekend, so I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm just going to wait till Monday? And I ask that question because I think it's an important question to ask yourself. Is it really worth waiting till Monday? Is your health worth waiting till Monday? It doesn't mean you can't enjoy the weekend. It doesn't mean you can't eat the things you want to eat, but this is more of a question or a thing to remind yourself to be cognizant, to be aware that your health is still a priority and you shouldn't be putting it aside because you're waiting till Monday. That's the one thing that I am trying to continue to learn as I do what I'm doing is I'm not here to wait till the first of the month, like March 1st is here. Did some of you tell yourself, I'm just going to wait till March 1st because it's the first of the month and that's really when I'm going to start? And if it is, okay, but is it the first time you've told yourself, I'm going to wait till the first? What about back in January 1st? Did you did you tell yourself the same thing back then? Part of what I'm talking about and part of what I'm doing is to get people out of the habit of waiting till Monday, waiting till the first, waiting till your birthday passes, waiting till the holidays end, waiting till an event finishes, because your life is today. Your health should be prioritized today. And it doesn't mean that you have to do the greatest things in your life, the healthiest things in your life all day, every day. It just means that you shouldn't just throw away things that are happening in your life because you're putting the priority of your health lower than it should be. That's all I'm trying to say. So I say that because this is part of what these Sunday live streams are for. It's for accountability. This is for people who are here in the chat. Welcome, by the way. Thank you for chatting. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your accountability. Thank you for anyone who's sharing their story and their vulnerability, because that's a big thing to do. That isn't an easy thing to do, especially when you're struggling and you're having a hard time. Showing up here and telling yourself, no, I want to do better. I want to be better. I want to be healthier. I want to take care of myself. I want to be happy. This is a place for that. This is a place to share what's going on in your life, how things are doing, especially when it comes to fasting. This isn't a place where we should be judging one another, because everybody is on their own journey, and we should all respect that. Just the same way you respect my journey, please respect everyone else's journey in chat. If you're watching this after the stream ends, the same goes to anyone in the comments. Please be respectful of people's journeys because you don't know what it's like to step in their shoes. For a lot of people who just don't know me, it's the same kind of deal. People think that they know me and think they know what I should eat or how I should exercise or how I should live my life, but you don't. Just like I don't know yours, but I respect it and I respect what you're going through. And I think at the end of the day, all of us here are just trying to be happy and healthy, or at least I hope you're trying to be happy and healthy, because if you're here to be sad and unhealthy, well, this isn't really the place for it. For people in the chat who are asking questions, please hold them off until later. I will do a Q&A and I will answer questions for anyone who asks later in the stream. I might not be able to get to everybody. It just depends on how things are going, but keep them till later and I'll try to answer what I can. So I did this last week and I'm going to do this again, but one of the things that I want to just start off with is kind of give an introduction to myself. So my name is Jerome. I am someone who is on a fasting journey, a weight loss journey, but also a bigger journey than that, a journey to find out what's going on with me and why I have been overweight, obese pretty much my entire life, why I deal with binge eating, why I suffer with depression, and why I'm doing the things I'm doing to get to where I'm at today. So, as a child, I have been overweight, obese pretty much my entire life. And it's not something that has been easy to deal with. I have always grown up being overweight and just having to deal with, I guess, getting through that. So even during my teenage years and my adolescence, right? I've always been an overweight person. At one point, weighing probably somewhere around 235 pounds. This is probably a more recent picture of me, I think, when I was in New York a couple months ago. But yeah, like again, ever since being a child, I've always been overweight. And I have suffered with binge eating even when I was younger as a teenager, binge and purging, which resulted in just me binging later on. And I've tried every diet in the book: caloric restriction, low carb, keto. I will say I haven't tried carnivore, but I've tried a lot, especially until I found fasting. But eating 3 times a day, 5 times a day, working out probably way too much. I've done it all and I've lost weight successfully, but never to the point of being an quote unquote average weight. I would lose the weight, I would lose a couple pounds, 20, maybe 30 pounds, and then I would gain it all back. I couldn't sustain it until I found fasting. Fasting is the only thing for me that works. Fasting is the only thing for me that I've done successfully, and I've maintained to keep it off for a longer time than I've done anything else. Yes, I gained the weight back when I first fasted. Yes, I gained it back and I kept it on for almost 2.5 years. I have talked about my struggles with that. I've talked about the cause of that, a lot of that being stress eating and emotional eating and having food take over my life again. But I have now losing that weight again, and I'm very close to my goal weight, and I've done it through fasting again. Just to show that fasting is the way, I guess, the way of life, the way of my eating, the cornerstone of what I do to keep the weight off. As someone that deals with binge eating, I have a problem with portion control. I eat 4,000 calories, 6,000 calories, sometimes more than that during a regular refeed. I can eat 7,000 calories in a 4-hour time frame. So I fast for 90 plus hours because I know fasting at that length with the exercise that I do benefits me to lose weight while while I can still eat anything I want within that 4-hour period. And it's why I never tell people to eat as much as I do or fast as long as I do or exercise the way I do, because I'm different like everyone else. Most people aren't my height and my weight. Most people aren't 5'3", weighing at 220 pounds or 230 pounds when I was heavier. And everyone just deals with things differently. But we all come together here to share the same goal, which is to lose weight, be happy, be healthy, and have a good, healthy, positive mindset, which I think is very, very important. Before I continue on, Val, again, with another $5 super chat. Val seems to be a regular player here when it comes to donating. Val, thank you so much for the support. As always, Val says, Jerome, congrats on your fasting journey. Thank you so much. Glad you're back to the 140s. We are happy for you. Val, thank you so much. Yes, I'm back in the 140s for anyone that might not be aware. I started close to almost 220 pounds when I restarted my fasting journey, and now I'm back in the 140s, and it's crazy because I have never lost this much weight this quickly, and I really tip my hat off to my past experience, the knowledge I've had in the past to get me to lose this weight as quickly as I've done, while doing it and not feeling like it was torture, while doing it and not feeling like I couldn't live my life. One thing I'm going to get into today when it comes to fasting for a lot of us is, if you want to do this and you want to do it consistently and you want it to be sustainable, you have to find a way to do it where it doesn't feel like torture every single day. Doesn't mean that it's not going to be hard at some points, because it definitely will, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Val, thank you so much for the support. As always, I appreciate the $5 super chat. Thank you for always supporting every week, it seems like, at this point. So thank you. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay. So we're into March at this point. And one of the things that I'm also wondering is, for the month of February, I talked to you all about consistency. I think the one thing I've been harping about over and over and over lately is the importance of consistency. And what I did in February was I asked a lot of you, have you been consistent? Whether the consistency was in your fasting, that's great. Whether the consistency was in your exercise, that's also great. All of these things are great when it comes to that consistency. But the consistency I was looking for the month of February was, have you been consistent when it comes to falling off the wagon? Meaning, have you been consistent when you couldn't finish a fast that you thought you could have, but instead of just throwing it away and not coming back to YouTube, or not coming back to YouTube, not that's what I did, not coming back to doing what you need to do, whether it's a fast, whether it's being accountable by maybe coming to YouTube and watching these videos. Have you been consistent when it comes to that? Have you been consistent in not just giving up, not just throwing things away? I say this because I feel like this is something that we can talk about and still continue into the month of March, is being consistent and not just giving up, being consistent in, hey, I didn't hit my goal of fasting for X amount of hours, but I refed and then I got right back on it. I hit that fasting timer again and I went again. That's what I talk about when I talk about consistency. That's what I talk about when I talk about the importance of just not giving up, just not throwing the day away. And I talked about this when I posted my video yesterday, where I said, hey, you might not hit your fasting number, but does that mean you just stop exercising? If you were supposed to go for a walk or supposed to go lift weights or ride a bike or do whatever, why would you stop doing that? Because you didn't hit your fasting number? Is that really the excuse you want to give yourself? Or are you doing that because you want a way out? You want to just get that dopamine hit of eating. And I mean, I don't want to call it being lazy, but sometimes I feel like I've done that. That's what my answer was is, oh, I didn't do it the perfect way. So I'm just not going to eat right, but I'm also not going to exercise now because what's the point of exercising if I'm not going to eat right? And I say this because I know a lot of us think that way. And a lot of this is rewiring your brain, like I said yesterday, to stop just giving up completely and doing all of these unhealthy habits that really just throw us for a loop where we can't get out of the hole we dug ourselves. The hole we dug ourselves in. Um, Westfield 90 with a $5 super chat. Westfield 90, thank you for the support. I don't think I've seen you donate before. So if it's your first time, thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Westfield 90 asks, how much do you think is fasting versus exercising that primarily led to so much weight loss in the given time period? So if you're asking because of me, or if you're asking in my experience, I think for me, exercising is more complementary. And I think fasting is the bigger outcome here. I'll tell you though, for sure, if I was just fasting and not exercising, I don't think I would have lost the weight as quickly, but I still think fasting in general would have still afforded me better weight loss than just exercising. But that's also because I know that I overeat. So that's kind of a hard way to gauge it, but I'm going to add in here too. Here's the thing about exercising, at least for me, and this might be relatable to other people who exercise, but when I exercise, for me, I feel like I can fast better. And by that, I mean, exercising is a way to remind myself that I'm doing good things. When I'm just fasting and doing nothing else, to me, that feels more like a chore. To me, that feels like I'm having a harder time hitting that goal because the only thing that's going on in my head is, well, I'm just fasting. So I'm just going to break right now because I wasn't even doing anything else that is worth it. There's nothing else I'm doing that's benefiting me except fasting. And this is tough right now. So I don't want to do it anymore. Versus when I wake up in the morning, the very first thing that I do, other than stepping on the scale, is I go out for a walk, and I go usually to the gym as well. I'll walk, go to the gym, and then I'll walk some more, walking back home or doing an extended walk. And doing that very first thing in the morning, walking, lifting weights, and walking again, for me, I feel like that's a jump start to my fast because I already know that I fasted the night before and I'm already in fat burning mode. And I'm just going to accelerate that fat burning mode by going for a walk while I'm still fasted, by going to lift weights while I'm still fasted. So for me, I think they're both great things to do, but I think fasting is still the cornerstone for me, especially when I fast for the length I fast for. If you're fasting for a shorter amount of time, like you're doing an OMAD, I still think it's very beneficial. And I still think it probably outweighs exercise by maybe a little bit, but it also depends on the exercise you're doing. I don't go hard when I exercise. I'm not jogging. I'm not climbing uphill. I'm not lifting super heavy weights. I am lifting heavier weights as time goes on, but I'm not doing anything crazy. So I yes, I think I answered that question a little longer than I should have, but Westfield 90, I hope that is a little helpful for you. So Thank you again for the $5 donation. I appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for the support. Thank you for being here again. I appreciate you guys. Okay, so consistency challenge. I still want to push that through the month of March. I think talking about consistency is always going to be a recurring topic for me, but not just the consistency of your fasts, not just the consistency of your exercise, but the consistency of hitting that fasting timer again. The consistency of maybe not hitting your numbers, but hitting that fasting timer again, telling yourself, okay, I'm going to refeed and then I'm just going to go again. I'm not going to put a lapse in time between when I stopped fasting because I didn't hit my number and now I don't feel right. I don't feel well. I don't feel like I did enough. And then you're just going to wait the weekend or you're going to wait till the first or what have you. But instead, you're going to refeed. You're going to hit that fasting timer again. My consistency has been there since I've started, but even though I promised myself I would do 90-hour fasts, have I done 90-hour fasts this entire time? No, I haven't hit the 90 hours every single time. When I tell myself I'm going to do a 4-hour eating window, do I sometimes go over that 4-hour eating window? Yes, it's happened. But does that mean I throw the day away? Imagine if I did that right now. Imagine if I broke my fast earlier today. It's not the day I'm supposed to break it. But what if I did? Just imagine that I did. And then I threw everything away. That would be crazy. I wouldn't show up to this stream. I wouldn't be here being accountable. I probably wouldn't wake up the next day and say, okay, I'm going to get back on it, because in my head, I'm just going to be like, well, let me just wait another day, because that felt really good. That rush of dopamine, that high you get from eating whatever you want feels great. I'm going to feel like shit later, but that high right now, I'm going to ride that wave. But I don't. And that's the cycle I'm trying to get out of. That's the cycle I'm trying to teach all of you here to get out of. You need to get out of that habit of throwing the day away and letting that day turn into days or weeks, or like me, almost 2.5 years when I left YouTube, because that high was so much. I was so stressed out from the corporate job that I had at the time. I was addicted to food, which, I mean, let's be real. I'm still addicted to food. I still have my issues when it comes to food. I'm going to get into a lot of this in a little bit, but I still have my issues. And that's why I have these live streams, so I can talk about it and be transparent about it and show up and be accountable, which is what I want all of you to do too. I want you to show up. That's why I talk about posting in chat, writing in the comments. Tell me how you're doing. I go through all the chat. I go through all the comments. I read everybody's story and what everybody's going through. You might not think that I do, but I literally go through everything, because for me, I feel like that's a motivation for me. It makes me feel like I'm not alone. That makes me feel like we have a community here. And I think that's really important. I think it's important for all of us to have that kind of connection, because most of the rest of the world, they're not fasting. But I feel like a lot of us here right now, this is what we're doing. This is what we're trying to figure out to make things work. Okay, so where am I at right now? Today is day 119 of my fasting journey. 119 days is 17 weeks. So I am now 4 months and 1 week into my fasting journey. Crazy to me that I am 4+ months in. I will also bring this up. If you started watching me when I came back the day before I started my fasting journey, and I shared what I was planning to do, and I invited all of you to be part of this fasting journey, how many of you were here the day I came back after not being here for almost 2.5 years? If you were here, have you been on this journey with me? Have you at least attempted to be on this journey with me? If you have, actually feel free if you want to share and let me know how you did since you've started. If you started with me November 6th, I'm a little curious to see how things have been or how things are going, or if you've been struggling or what's been up with you. I will read through it, so please let me know. I guess with that being said too, if you did start then, or if you think about it, think about where you'd be if you started with me 4 months and 1 week ago, and how far you'd be into your journey if you never gave up, if you kept going. But let's not even say November 6th, because maybe a lot of you are new, maybe you're not used to being here, but I can guarantee you there's probably a lot of you that told yourself you would start January 1st, the first day, January 1st of 2024. How many of you have stuck to that then? How many of you have stuck to saying, I'm going to do what I need to do? I'm going to take care of myself. This is going to be the best year ever. I'm going to lose all the weight. How's it going? How have things been? And if they haven't been going well, I want to talk about that today, because today I really want to talk about how to get started when it comes to fasting, and how to keep it consistent, and how to build longer, stronger fasts, how to build your fasting muscle, because I think that's really important. Anyway, 119 days in, 4 months and 1 week of me doing this, being consistent when it comes to fasting, when it comes to exercising, when it comes to better sleep. That's the part I have a harder time with, but I'll get into that in a second. But this is me 4 months and 1 week in of showing up and being accountable and being transparent and being real with you guys. I have filmed myself every day stepping on the scale. I might not show you guys that of every time I step on the scale, but every time I make a new video, I will always show myself stepping on that scale. I have almost recorded myself every day when I go for a walk. I don't record myself lifting weights at the gym because I don't want to be that guy. I don't care for that, but I have been consistently going to the gym to lose or to lift weights. So currently, again, day 119, I am 20 hours into my current fast. I actually broke my last fast last night. I did 29 consecutive fasts since November 6th. Imagine that, 29 fasts for the last 4 months. And in those 29 fasts, they have been averaging almost 4 days. I have been doing that consistently since November 6th. I'm currently working on my 30th fast. And as I've been doing these fasts, these 90 plus hour fasts, I'm starting to pepper in 65-hour fasts, because I am getting closer and closer to my goal weight. And so I'm going to start lowering those fasts so I can ease into doing shorter fasts, which sounds a little weird because it's not really easing into it, because I'm going to be eating more now and fasting for less. But I'm trying to throw them in every now and then so I can get accustomed to doing shorter fasts instead of all of a sudden just eating every other day, versus what I'm doing now is eating every 4 days, because I have a feeling doing something like that might trigger my brain to just want to eat every single day. I don't know if that's what happened to me in the past. I know a lot of reasons that got me to stop doing what I was doing in the past, to start refeeding more or binge eating, but yeah, I'm still figuring that out. I'm still learning that about myself. And that's why I always bring it back to you guys, and why I talk about why it's so important to just keep going instead of giving up. Because if you give up, you are wasting your time. You're not learning about yourself. You're not learning about what you can and can't do, because you're not giving yourself the experience to do so. You're not giving yourself the expertise, the knowledge to understand why you're doing what you're doing. You're not giving yourself time to think about it in your head. Why am I doing this? What's going on? I mean, maybe you do, and maybe you ask yourself that as you're binging or you're throwing the day away, but starting over, hitting that fasting timer again, that is building your fasting muscle. That is putting priority into your health. Okay, next topic. Oh God, fit check. I don't like doing fit checks when I ate the day before, but I have now been doing this every Sunday. So I'll do a fit check today. When I say fit check, everyone, I'm talking about outfit check. Not really sharing my outfit. I'm giving you a look at where I'm at currently body wise. So, mind you, I refed yesterday. I think I ate maybe close to 6,000 calories, if not more. But we'll do a fit check just so you see where I'm at. Now, remember, I used to weigh 220. I now weigh or around 220. I now weigh under 150 pounds. And I went from wearing an extra large adult, a tight extra large adult, to now size small. This shirt is a size small. I do sometimes wear an extra small at this point. I went from wearing a size 38 waist pants to now wearing a 28 waist pants. Remember, I'm also 5'3". I'm short. So a size 38 pant size waist 38 on someone who's 5'3". It's just I was very big at my height and for my height and weight. So this is me right now. This is a fit check. Remember, I refed yesterday. So I feel bloated. I don't feel the best about showing off how I look right now, but I want to do this every Sunday. So okay, fit check. These pants, these pants are size 28 pants, 28 waist pants. See, and you'll see I still have, I'm wearing like a compressed shirt under, but see, I still have, oh, well, so a lot of this is probably loose skin. Um, but for the most part, I feel good. And like, honestly, even for me refeeding last night and eating 6,000 calories, and even though I feel bloated, I still feel like I look pretty good. Um, but yeah, fit check. Okay, so that's where I'm at. I'm at the point though where I feel pretty comfortable in my skin. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at, and I feel like all the work I've done has paid off a lot. I feel a lot more confident in who I am and how I feel, and I would never trade that for the world at this point. And that's why I talk about what I'm doing and I talk about the importance of consistency, because imagine if you just didn't give up. Yeah, you might not do 90-hour fasts, but you're also not eating 5,000, 6,000 plus calories, right? You're not doing that. So imagine if you were doing half of that. Imagine if you were doing 45-hour fasts and you were only eating 3,000 calories, let's say, per refeed. Imagine the progress that you might have versus what I might have. But even if you couldn't, imagine if you were just doing 36-hour fasts, or maybe some of those fasts end up being 18 hours or 23 hours, but you never gave up and you kept staying consistent and you kept hitting that timer and you started over and you learned more and you learned, oh, this is what I really like to eat during my refeeds. This really tastes good. Oh, I'm going to structure the way I eat better. You won't know, you won't understand yourself and what's happening and what things are good until you start doing it, until you start building your fasting muscle. I This is what I was going to talk about once I finish this fit check part, but yes. So I see there's, I don't want to miss my super chats here. Westfield 90 with another $5 super chat. Westfield 90, thank you so much. Caring for an ailing parent and a girlfriend who broke her leg derailed by effort. Thankfully, both are now much better, and I'm ready for my self-care. Westfield 90, that's great. I love to hear that. And that's that. Okay, I'm gonna share this with everyone here too. This is what happens. Life happens, guys. And I can totally relate with Westfield 90 here. And I bet you a ton of you can relate. Life happens, things happen in life. You think that what I'm going through right now is going to be just this trajectory of it's going to be great forever. It isn't. All of us are going to have ups and downs. And this is also what I'm talking about when I'm talking about consistency, because you're going to have to learn how to ride these waves out. You're going to have to learn things aren't always going to be the best, and you're going to have bumps in the road, and you're going to have to figure out how to get over those bumps. And figure out how to get back on the horse. Because remember, as as bad as things might be or they seem, and obviously this is easier said than done because all of us are going to go through things, but I think the one thing you can't forget is that your health should and always should be a priority. Health is the number one thing that you want to cherish and take care of. And yeah, that's hard for me to say because I have spent so many years not taking care of my health. I've been a diabetic since, or a type 2 diabetic since I was 22, and I'm 43 now. I have literally been a type 2 diabetic for 20 plus years. And in those 20 plus years, I can almost say that out of the 21 years I have been diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic, I have probably only taken care of myself for maybe, I don't know, 10, 15% of those 21 plus years, which scares me because how has that affected my body in the 2 decades of not taking care of myself? It's so important that you keep your health prioritized despite what's going on. Again, easier said than done. Westfield 90, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for telling us what's going on and the journey that you're on right now. Please keep us posted. Everyone here, I mean, thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for being vulnerable and really saying things that you might not even be willing to say to other people outside of your life. I mean, fasting isn't something that is really easy to just share with other people because a lot of people sometimes think it's crazy when you tell them what you're doing, but only you know yourself better than anyone else. Mel's 4313 with a $5 super chat. Mel's 4313. Thank you so much. That's my issue, getting back on track. Been trying to get back since breaking my fast on February 6th. So almost a month, Mel's. I was supposed to restart on March 1st. Still struggling to start. And you know what? This is actually something I was going to talk about. And I have a comment that is actually going to go over this as well. But Mel's, I mean, thank you for sharing that. And thank you for even bringing this up because that's what I've been talking about is not waiting for the first, not waiting for the weekend to pass. And for you to even just admit that this is what you've been doing, I mean, that's really big of you to say that and share that. And this is what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about why you don't have to do that. And Mel's, I actually want to answer this question or answer what you're going through. So I'm not going to do this right now. I'm going to do it in a second, but keep this in mind and I'm going to reference back to you. But Mel's, thank you for the $5 super chat. I want to help anyone who's having this issue right now. I want to help anyone that's saying, I was supposed to start on such and such date, but I didn't. Or I tried to and I couldn't do it. And now I can't get back to where and I'm going to go through all that. So Mel's, hang on there. Thank you for the support. Appreciate it. And I think there was, there's two more. Kita Rivera, Kita, am I saying that right? Unless it's Keta, but either way, thank you for the $5 super chat. Is it normal to have diarrhea when breaking your first fast? So I think so. Yes, I think that's pretty normal. The thing is, I know other people still have issues with that if they eat too much or they eat specific foods. People ask me this all the time, but I don't really face those types of issues. Yeah, sometimes I have more watery bowel movements, but I know what foods kind of cause that. But for the most part, and I tell people this all the time, even yesterday, I went to break with beer and pizza. I fasted for 90 plus hours. I broke with beer and pizza and mozzarella sticks and tater tots. And I was fine. I didn't have issues, but that's me. It is different for a lot of people. So you might have to, especially if you're just starting out, you might have to see what works and what doesn't for you. People in chat, please share whatever tips you might have when it comes to having issues with your stomach, what you do, what might be helpful. I've heard people say they'll have bone broth, or they will start with yogurt, or they'll have lean protein and then wait an hour. Usually that's what people say, is they'll have something small at first and wait an hour, and then they'll introduce other foods now that their stomach might be a little more acclimated to food. I just finished my first 72-hour. Congratulations, by the way, for finishing your 72 hours. That's amazing. And it was awesome. Well, that's awesome. I feel I'm proud of you. That's great. And hopefully you can continue. And remember, it doesn't have to be another 72. It can be if that's what you want. But like I've been saying throughout, 44 minutes ago? Oh my God, we're already 44 minutes into this. I haven't even gotten into my nerd stats yet. But I say this meaning, just remember to keep hitting that fasting timer and go again and go again. Don't give up. You know what, Keta, I'll remember if you let me know how to pronounce it properly. I would love to hear your progress as time goes on. So congrats to you. This has been easier than eating. I don't know if you mean like eating healthy or eating often or cutting your calories, but yes, there's a lot of pros when it comes to fasting. And I think a lot of people who don't do it don't really understand. And I mean, hopefully, maybe some people who are interested come to this channel and figure things out. So a $10 super chat. And I'm Kayla and I had talked through a consultation and or a session. I can't remember now, but she told me how to pronounce her name and I forgot. With a $10 super chat, Jerome out here looking fit and fab. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the kind words. Nice job. Proof consistency pays off. You go, boy. You know what? And that's the thing. This is proof that consistency pays off. Thank you again for the $10 super chat. I just want to point out here that, yeah, I really feel like I have been so consistent for the last 4+ months, even though it hasn't been perfect, that I have continued to do what I have set out to do, and the results are showing. The results show because I'm starting to wear clothes again that I used to wear back when I first lost all the weight. But I love the fact now that I can not only say I've lost this weight so much faster than I did before, but mentally too, I feel so much stronger. I feel like in my head, I have things pretty locked down. It doesn't mean I'm not going to have my hard days. And it doesn't mean that maybe eventually I'm going to break and binge. And that's scary for me to think about. And that's scary for me to say. But I know that this time around, if that happens, I can't just run away. I have to be accountable. I have to be transparent. And that's what this YouTube channel is for, is to share that accountability and that transparency and talk about why this happened and what happened in my head and how I'm going to get out of it, because I think that's going to be helpful for a lot of you who are going through the same things. Okay. Takuin. Oh God, did I pronounce that right too? Takuin and I have also talked. I feel like I've talked to a lot of you now. Hey, Jerome, been doing first with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. No, it's 2 syllables, right? Or is it 3? No, it's Takuin. You're going to have to remind me. I'm so sorry. With a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Hey, Jerome, been doing 18 to 20 hour fast since we spoke. That's great. Congrats. Today, I started my first long-term fast in years. Excited. Keep up the good work, bro. Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for the support, but congrats to you to getting started and even doing something like this, 18 to 20 hour fast, which is actually what I'm going to talk about today. And look at what he's talking about here. He went from 18 to 20 hour fast, and now he's getting used to doing that, building his fasting muscle, and now working into something long-term. And this, I feel like, is part of not giving up. And yes, 3 syllables, Takuin. Thank you. But this is what I'm talking about, is building your fasting muscle, the importance of building your fasting muscle, and the importance of reminding yourself that it doesn't have to be a 7-day fast. It doesn't have to be a 5-day fast. It doesn't have to be a 3-day fast. You can build up to it. But I'm going to get into those specifics in a bit because I think that is my next part of the topic. Takuin, thank you for the support. Thank you all for the support. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys. Okay, so, and I'm going to go back to Mel's comment earlier, but how I'm going to introduce this, how I'm going to talk about starting your fasts, sticking to your fasts, and building your fasting muscle. I want to start off with this comment here that says, I'm having the hardest time just getting by on day 1 to fast, but I'm determined. So I'm starting tomorrow, and maybe by the end of May, I will do this. Okay, so let's start here. Let's start about just starting a fast and how to go about that. For someone who is new to fasting, for someone who has never done a fast before, but to others who have also done fasts in the past but have a hard time doing it now, I'm just going to tell you one thing. Hit the starting timer. Hit the fasting timer. Just do it. Just start. Just jump into it. And if that fast ends up being 23 hours, but you told yourself you were going to do 72, 23 hours is still great. That is building experience in fasting. If you hit that fasting timer and it ends up being 18 hours, that is an 18-hour fast that you should not be ashamed of. You should not feel guilty that you hit 18 hours instead of 80. If your fast was 12 hours, that's the start of this. This is the foundation of starting your fasting journey. If you're not hitting that timer, if you're not logging that data, it might make it harder for you to get started on a fast. Sometimes looking at that data can be very beneficial. I'm gonna share this, and I'm not trying to say this because I'm not. Here's the thing. So lately, for people I've been coaching, the one thing that I do for people that I'm coaching is I give them a spreadsheet. This is what I've been trying to do now, and this is just pretty recent. I'll give them a spreadsheet where they can log every single fast, but they do it in a way where I give them a Google sheet. So you will mark your fast down, but the moment you do, I get to see it too. And that's accountability. But I also do that because I think it's important to log those numbers down because that can start showing you what you're doing. And over time, as you continue to do these fasts, you can start looking at that and be like, I remember this. I remember back when I first started, I was doing 18s or 16s or 23s. But now, because I've been doing them so frequently, they're pretty easy to do. And I have been extending it over time. And I think, at least for me, I think that's really beneficial. And it doesn't have to be a Google sheet, and it doesn't have to be from me. You can do this on your own. I'm not trying to get people here to sign up for coaching. That's not what I'm just giving you a little advice. Sometimes what might be helpful is to just look at that data. You guys remember, I showed you last week my whiteboard. I had a whiteboard before I started YouTube for accountability. Every single day, I would write on that whiteboard what my weight was, how long I fasted for, how long my eating window was. And I don't think maybe for a lot of people, I didn't share this piece of info, but that whiteboard that I wrote that on, I did that at the job I was working at. And that job was in a co-working space at like a WeWork. So at that office I worked at, glass windows and glass doors everywhere. And random people would walk by and see that whiteboard, probably have no idea what it meant, but I kept it out there. That was my accountability back then. But everyone that I worked with saw me write on that whiteboard, and I left the scale in that office. So I stepped on that scale every morning Everybody saw me step on that scale and see that number, and I would write it on that whiteboard every single day for 78 days when I did that. That was my accountability then. Looking at that helped me. It helped me look at my fasts. It helped me look to see what the weight looked like. That was my accountability. That's just the piece I'm sharing here. The thing about fasting, especially when you start, is don't be ashamed of not hitting your number. Don't be ashamed of that. Be proud that you started your fast. Be proud that you did a 12-hour. Be proud that you did a 16 or a 23. And here's the thing. You do that, you refeed, and then you start again. And maybe it's another 12, or maybe it's an hour longer. Maybe it's one of those things where you look at, okay, I did 12 hours this time. Now I'm going to do 12 and a half, or now I'm going to do 13. And eventually you start adding that time up. And maybe one day you're like, you know what? I think I can do a 36-hour fast. I can do an alternate day fast. And you can attempt it and you can see how that goes. And if it doesn't go your way and you have to break early, then you break early. You refeed and then you hit that timer again. This is building that fasting muscle, but it's not just building fasting muscle. This is building your experience. This is building the mindset you have, thinking about, okay, I can do this. Think about your past too. For people who have done extended fasts before, you know what you're capable of. You already know you've done it before. I know I've done an 11-day fast. That's the longest I've ever done, but I know I'll never do another 11-day fast again. You know why? Because I've went through it and it's not something I want to do again. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about experience. That's why I do 90-hour fasts. How did I get to a 90-hour fast? Because I did it through experience. I did it through trial and error. I found out if I did a 90-hour fast and I ate whatever I want, but still exercise the way I have been, I would consistently lose weight over and over and over and over. And here's the thing. It's the truth. I've shown you now, and I'll show you when I show you the stats in a bit. I have done 90-hour fasts on average for the last 4+ months. And every single time I step on the scale after a 90-hour fast, I have lost weight on the scale based on my exercise and based on still eating 4, 5, 6,000 plus calories. That didn't just come from thin air. That came from my experience. That came from building my fasting muscle. That came from learning from experience. And that's why when I talked about, I think in 2 or 3 videos ago, that the weight I've lost where I'm at now took 4 months, but the last time I did it, it took 8 months. It took twice as long the last time because I didn't have that experience versus what I've done now. So for people who might be having a hard time right now, also remember you have a lot of experience from the past to back that up. If you're having a hard time, if you're feeling frustrated because in your head you said, I used to do this, why can't I do it right now? Don't think I haven't been there. I left YouTube for almost 2.5 years, and I would be lying to you if I told you I didn't try to fast within that time, because I did. I tried to even at least do OMAD and I couldn't do it. I couldn't get through the fasts back then. And then as I think about it now, because I'm learning through experience, I think the reason I couldn't do it then and the reason I can do it now is because I have accountability, because I have to publicly do this for me to feel like I'm being accountable for others. I'm trying to lead by example. And that's what that's what it takes for me to do it. That's why I feel more successful doing it now versus when I wasn't doing it for 2.5 years. And when I tried to do it away from YouTube, I couldn't do it because I had no one to be accountable with. I had nobody to show that accountability for. And it's so different this time around. Okay. Does that make sense? It's not about how long you can fast for. It doesn't mean that you can't fast for long periods of time. If you can, that's great. This is more about just fasting It's not about the length. It's about the consistency. It's about fasting, breaking, fasting again, hitting that timer again, hitting that timer again, hitting that timer again. That's why I will never tell people you need to fast for this long. I will never tell people you need to exercise this certain way. I'll never tell people you need to eat this way, because you have to figure that out on your journey. You have to figure out what works for you. You can't imitate what I do. And it doesn't mean that you can't try to if you want, but don't eat 5,000, 6,000 calories if you're trying to do this, because I only eat that way because I eat to satiety. I eat till I feel full. I don't eat 5, 6, 7,000 calories because I'm just trying to stuff food down for no reason. That's what it takes for me. That's how it works for me. That's just the way I'm built, which is different than anyone else. And that's why I can never promote the way I eat or the way I fast with anyone else, because it's going to be different. Okay. Second bullet point that I have here is, when it comes to fasting, it doesn't have to be torture. It doesn't have to feel this difficult all the time. Is it going to be difficult? Yeah. Because if it wasn't difficult, then all of us would be doing it super easy and then we'd all be at our goal weights. But it isn't like that. Fasting has a difficulty curve to it. Fasting, here's the thing about fasting too, is just because you did a lengthy fast in the past, or you just finished doing a lengthy fast, doesn't mean that it's going to be just as easy the second time around, because sometimes it isn't. Sometimes things are going to be harder to do. Sometimes you might need to break earlier. Sometimes shit happens in life where it throws you for a loop and you start to use food as comfort, or you start to use food to stress eat. And these are the things that you're going to have to learn over time on how to get over that hump. I am, I mean, I'm a victim of stress eating, right? I am that person. I have stress ate in the past. Stress, yeah. I have stress eaten in the past. I have emotionally eaten. And usually when I stress eat or emotionally eat, I binge. That's what happens. I wish I didn't, but that's what happens when I just let myself go. But not only that, I throw everything else away. I stop exercising. I stop caring about work. I stop caring about financial matters. I stop caring about friendships and relationships. Like, that's how bad my issue with eating is. And these are the things that I remind myself when I think about wanting to binge. The sad truth is, I can't ever say that I'll never binge again, because I don't know. The scary part is that day might happen again. That day might come. But I have to figure out how to deal with that. And for a lot of us, it's minimizing that damage, right? It's it's maybe having that happen in your life, having these awful things happen, and maybe you stress eat to comfort yourself, but it's learning how to minimize that damage. And when I say learning how to minimize damage, I'm talking about trying to stop it from carrying on too long. For me, even if I get to the point where I binge, I need to figure out how I don't let this continue on for so long. And I think right now, my plan is, if that ever happens, is I publicly talk about it on YouTube. I feel like that is what's going to help me stop. It might be different for you, but you need to figure a plan out, whatever that plan might be. Just don't keep it to yourself. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's your answer, but I think for a lot of us, keeping it to ourselves, not showing accountability, I think it's harder that way. And I've been saying this to a lot of people I've been coaching too. It's really easy when you give yourself goals and you tell no one, because if you don't hit those goals, the only person that knows about it is you. And it doesn't feel as bad letting yourself down. That's a really bad way to phrase it too, because I don't want people to think you're just letting others down. But sometimes having that accountability is just, it's a good way to know that, I don't know. There's just something about accountability. I think that for me, it resonates a lot. It feels like you're not just doing it for yourself. I mean, you should be doing it for yourself, but it's just a different way. And I guess I can't put, sorry, I want to sit up or sit cross-legged. I guess I can't really put it into words, but I do really think there is a lot of power in accountability, in what we're doing, having other people know what's happening. I think that's really important. It might not be for you, but for me, I think that's a big piece of it. So the other point I have here is, and I'm maybe beating the horse here, beating a dead horse here, not beating a horse. But my other point here is building consistency means that you're building your fasting muscle. So 12-hour fast, 16-hour fast, it might not be impressive to you, but that's how you build consistency. That's how you build your fasting muscle. The way I think about it too is, for a lot of people, doing a rolling 90 like I've been doing, when I talk about a rolling 90, that means I do a 90-hour fast, I refeed, and then I do another 90-hour fast, and then I refeed, and then I do a 90-hour fast. Doing rolling 90s isn't for everyone, but doing rolling 72s probably isn't for everyone either. Sometimes these rolling fasts have to be done in different intervals. Sometimes these rolling fasts might be a couple of 18-hour fasts, a 23, another 18, and then maybe a 36, and then another 18 or another 23. Only time will tell you what you're capable of and what you can do. And it doesn't mean you can't set big goals for yourself. It doesn't mean that you can't do the things you need to do, because there are other layers to this. Remember, when I talk about levers of weight loss, it's not just about the fasting. What about your exercise? That's building that consistency too, just like anything else. Even the way you eat, the way you structure the way you're eating, all of those things. That's how you start this. This is how you get off the ground and do something. Because doing nothing, just thinking about it, we can all think about this. We can all tell ourselves our strategy. Hell, I told myself my strategy. I talked about it the day before YouTube, I talked about it the day before I started my fasting journey on YouTube. I gave you my strategy plan. Luckily, I was able to do most of it. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't just think about it. Yeah, go ahead, strategize, make big plans, give yourself big goals if that's what you want to do. But also realize that maybe you might not hit those goals, but you should have a backup plan in place. You should tell yourself, if I don't hit that number, then I'm going to refeed for X amount of hours or whatever, and then I'm going to go again. But I'll also make sure that backup plan means I'm not going to stop exercising. I'm still going to do what I told myself I was going to do. Hell, you should take advantage of that exercise then if you broke early, because now you just put extra energy in you by eating. Think about the good things that come with it. Think about the consistency you're going to build if you just don't give up and you hit that fasting timer again. The last thing I want to put about this, or the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to this is, yeah, actually, I just said this. So you learn through trial and error. You learn through doing this. That's how you build your experience. I don't really have much more to say on this, because I think I really shared that at this point. So, and the other point I had here was the difficulties of doing rolling fasts, and I already explained that. Rolling fasts, it's a thing that you build up to, and even if you've done it before, it doesn't mean that you can just do it again after not doing it for some time. Fasting isn't an easy thing. It isn't. If it was, all of us would just continue to do it as regularly as possible. I mean, here's the thing. If it was up to me, I would just fast until I hit my goal weight. I wouldn't eat. I would just fast until I hit my goal weight. But I know I can't do that. So even I have limits. Yes, I know. A lot of you are just like, well, 90 hours is awesome. That's what I want to do. But the reality is, not all of us can do that. But here's the thing, too, is yeah, I might do 90 plus hour fast, but I also eat a ton of calories. I wish I didn't have to. I wish I could eat half of those calories, but I know that depriving myself like that is a trigger for me. It's going to take time to learn, and you're only going to figure out how to learn to do this by doing it, by being okay with not hitting the big goals sometimes. And then, like I said yesterday, celebrating when you do hit those big goals, because that's awesome if you can do it. More power to you if you can. Just know that this journey isn't going to be just up, right? You're not just going to it isn't. That's not how life works. Things are going to happen and you're going to have to figure that out. Okay. So I want to go ahead and share stats with you. This is way longer than I already thought, but I feel like this is starting to happen. I feel like this is starting to happen every week now. But we're going to get into the nerdy stats, everyone. So you can see how I got to where I got to. I am currently working on my 30th consecutive fast, and this says currently 19 plus hours, but that is no longer the case, as I am now 20 hours, there you go, and 56 minutes in. So I'm almost 21 hours into my now hoping to be 90 plus hour fast. You'll see that stuff highlighted in orange were some of my shorter fasts, especially when I started at the beginning. You'll see things highlighted in green. Those were fasts that lasted over 100 hours. But all in all, the last 29 fasts I have done have averaged 93 hours and 30 minutes. So a few hours shy of doing a 4-day fast. But I have been doing this now for 4+ months straight since November 6th. 93 and a half hours on average since November 6th, day in and day out. And I think that average is also pretty high because of some of the other fasts I've done where it's 163 hours or 141 hours. Now, to go on the opposite end of it, these are my eating windows. By eating windows, I'm talking about my refeeds. By refeeds, I'm talking about the time it takes for me to eat after a fast. I have done 29 of these. All in all, they have been averaging 4 hours and 8 minutes. So basically a 93-ish, 94-ish hour fast, followed by a 4-hour refeed, followed by another 90-ish, 93-ish hour fast, followed by another 4-hour refeed for the last 4+ months. You'll also see that even though I have given myself less than 4 hours to eat, there have been many times now highlighted in yellow, and actually the last one should have been yellow as well, where I have gone 5+ hours. I have gone 6+ hours. I have even gone 8+ hours. These are the things that used to be a detriment to me in the past. If I didn't eat within the 4-hour time period, I would say, fuck it. I'm just going to eat everything for the rest of the entire day. But I haven't. I have learned to be better about that. And I think a lot of that is just the experience I've had, but also telling myself in my head, you can't just throw the day away just because you're eating for a longer period of time. All of these times here that have shown over 5 hours has also happened because they were from social events, because I was out doing things, and I have now started to prioritize my social life as well. Like, I think that's really important. I think it's really important to tell myself that it isn't just about fasting and eating in a very short window and being away from people. And like, what kind of life is that if you're just doing that day in and day out? I understand because I've done it and I was doing it at the very beginning. But now that I'm trying to get everything back in my life together, I think it's really important for me to have a good social life. I think it's important for me to network and be with other people. Even the time here where it was 8 hours and 54 minutes, for me, I felt like I was able to control myself better. I told myself, yeah, you're going to have a very long eating window today, but this is when I was out in LA and I was out with a friend. And I knew that I didn't want to just eat in a 4 hour window. I wanted to enjoy the day, and I tried to control how I ate, which is very hard for someone like me, but that's something that I'm learning over time. Okay. Next slide here is exercise. This has not changed at all. I have been exercising since I started my fasting journey, minimum 1 hour walk for at least 6 days a week. Although I know there was one week here, week 15, where I only walked 5 days a week. Actually, that was the week I was out in LA. But strength training at least twice a week. And actually, the last couple weeks, I have been going to the gym to lift multiple times a day and feeling great doing it. Exercise is a big part of what I'm doing and why I continue to do it, because one, I just think it's enjoyable. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy going to the gym. I enjoy going for a walk. Like I said before, you don't want to do things where it feels like torture. You want to do things that feel regular, that feel like you can do this on a daily basis. I don't fast for 90 hours if it felt like torture to me every day, because it doesn't. I'm able to maintain my social life. I'm able to maintain my work life. I'm able to do everything I need to do in my life. And that's how it should be for most of us most of the time. Yes, fasting isn't always going to be a walk in the park, but it shouldn't feel like torture all the time. Okay, sleep. My sleep was shit this week. I'm not gonna lie. 5.6 hours for the last week, not the best. My last couple of weeks prior to that were actually pretty good, which is, I really want 6.5 or more. But yeah, working on my sleep. So it was a little tough, and it is what it is, but I'm going to keep sharing that. Quality sleep is the hardest part, I think, on my journey of what I'm doing, and something that I'm always going to tell everyone how important it is that you get quality sleep. So, yes, I should take my own advice too. So, weight, numbers that most people like looking at here. So, again, day one, I weighed 217.8 pounds, 98.8 kilo. Day 118, which was yesterday, I hit my lowest weight at 147.6 pounds or 67 kilo. These weights here are my weights every time I finished a fast. You'll also notice that there has not been one time where I have gained weight or maintained weight. I have always lost weight after every single fast. But I have only done this because I know what works for me, because I've done this in the past, because I've gained that experience. And this is only something you're going to figure out once you start doing it. In 4 months and 6 days, 118 days, I have lost 70.2 pounds, 31.8 kilo. At someone who's 5'3" like me, who is short, I am only 7.6 pounds away from my goal weight of 140 pounds, 3.5 kilos to lose. I'm 90.2% complete in. I'm still amazed because I just don't know or can't believe that I've lost the weight this quickly. I thought this was going to take much longer to hit my goal weight, but at the rate I'm going at, I really think I'm probably going to hit 140 pounds by the beginning of April at the latest. Fingers crossed. I mean, and even if I don't, then that's fine. It's going to be fine. But I feel like at the rate I'm losing, I think I'm going to hit 140 pounds by April, the beginning of April, maybe by the end of March. But either way, once I do, then we're going to get into maintenance mode. Maintenance mode is something I'm really looking forward to, because one thing that I want to show everybody is that I can maintain this weight. I think one of the comments that I see a lot of is, well, let's see if you can keep the weight off. And that shit is the shit that wants me to do it. When I see people say that, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna show you. Like, I'm gonna show you. And I'm gonna show you that I can do it for a year. I'm gonna show you that I can do it for 5 years. I don't know if I'm going to be on YouTube for 10 more years, but if that's the only way that I can be accountable, I'm going to show you I can do it for 10 years. Right now, health is my number one priority, and I have no signs of not making that a priority in my life. So, yes, this is where I'm at when it comes to my goals and how I'm doing. More nerd stats. These are all of my fasts. I have done 29 of them. This is showing how much weight I've lost every single fast I've done. You'll notice that I have lost the most amount of weight at the very beginning because that's when I weighed the most. And at this point, if you look at my last couple of fasts, they were around less than a pound, and some of them were close to 2 pounds. But the last 2 fasts at 2 pounds, I was very happy. It seems to have dropped more than the last couple of fasts, so I'll take it. All these 29 fasts have averaged at around 2.4 pounds per fast, meaning that in these 29 fasts, on average, I'm losing about 2.5 pounds. Now, that number is going to keep going lower and lower because every fast I do after this, I'm just not losing it as quickly. But I only have 7.6 pounds more to go. So we'll see how this pans out, because after I hit my goal weight, I don't have to update this sheet anymore, because then the goal after that is to just maintain my weight. Now, the opposite end of this are my refeeds. A lot of people ask me, Jerome, how much weight do you gain after refeeding? Well, here are the stats here. On average, over the last 29 refeeds, I gain about 4.5 pounds. Some, especially the last couple fasts, are somewhere between 5 and 6 pounds. But for the most part, on average, I gain somewhere around 4.5 pounds per refeed. This is a stat that I don't show all the time because it only happens every time I lose 10 pounds. But I show this because, yes, I'm a very much a stat nerd, but I show this because I want people to understand that the closer you get to goal weight, the longer it takes. So to get from the 210s to the 200s, it took 4 days. To get from the 200s to the 190s took a week. And yes, I know it shows 211.6 here, but that's because it was a day after the refeed. So just to keep people in mind. So from the 190s to the 180s took 10 days. From the 180s to the 170s took 15 days. From the 170s to the 160s took 19 days. To the 160s to the 150s took 3 weeks. And now to get from the 150s to the 140s took a month, longer than a month. So 4 weeks and 3 days. The question is, how long now is it going to take to get, well, this actually shouldn't say 149.6. This should be my refeed weight, which was today, which was 152 or something. I'll fix that later. So the real question is, how long is it going to take to get to 140? Is it going to take longer than 31 days at this point? I don't know. It actually seems to be coming off quicker this time around, and I'm not exactly sure why, but I might start plateauing, and we'll see when I get there. Okay. So here's the point now where, right? Am I good here? Okay. Yes. People with questions, this is your time. This is your moment. If you have questions, ask them now, and I will go up from, is it Go Fat Ninja? I'm going to go anything under that with questions, I will try to answer. So please ask them now if you have questions, and I will answer as many as I can. But while you ask your questions, I want to go ahead and talk about coaching. People ask me, Jerome, do you coach? And the answer is, yeah, I am starting to coach now. I have been coaching quite a number of people, and that's something that I'm still continuing to do. When it comes to coaching, this is more of like an accountability type coaching deal, this is the site to go to it. You can actually get the link in the description if you're looking for coaching. Basically, how it works is you can do a 15-minute consultation with me. It doesn't cost you anything. You can sign up for that through this link in the description. We can talk about what your goals are, how you're feeling, what you're going through. And then when it comes to actual coaching sessions, it is about accountability. A lot of it is most people are looking to just make sure that somebody knows that you're fasting and you're trying and you just need a little guidance, or you need a little push, or you need someone to hold you accountable. And that's something that I do offer. I also want to point out all of this is like, you don't have to do any of this. A lot of what I coach for people is stuff I'm already teaching or showing people during my live streams, during my videos. This is just more of a personalized way to talk about, okay, let's build a plan. Let's build a strategy. Let's figure out what the next week looks like. Let's see if we can implement that week. How are you feeling in your head? That kind of stuff. That's what it comes that's what really a lot of this coaching comes down to. But a lot of it too is just maybe having a conversation and seeing how you're feeling and trying to get over the hump. It can be a variety of things. I mean, sometimes it's just booking time with me to talk and figuring things out. And so if that's something you're interested in, please feel free to do so. Again, I always offer, at least for the very first time, a 15-minute consultation just to talk things through. Even if you don't want coaching and you just want to talk, please feel free to book time with me. I love to talk to people. I love to hear your story, and I'd love to see if I can help. And if I can't, or you just want to say hi and say what's up, book some time. I want people to know that I'm here to help them. This isn't a cash grab. It is not at all. I mean, I want to help people if I can. And I have been telling people that I do coach. This coaching doesn't mean that I'm here to, the end game for coaching is that you don't have to use me. Like, you won't need me forever. That's my hope, is that you can figure this out. And maybe it's just a matter of just watching my videos later on, right? It isn't always about needing someone. It's giving you the tools and the resources that you need. It's giving you a kick in the ass if you need it. And it's giving you accountability if and when you need it. So calendly.com/finally fasting for any of that. That's really it there. So, okay. Q&A. I actually have a couple questions that people did ask, and I want to go through them really quick. And then I will go through the questions that all of you are asking, but I'll go through a couple questions here that some people had asked. I just pulled some that were recently asked. Okay, so H. Gordon says, you might have said this, but I didn't hear it. You said that you eat whatever you want when you refeed. Do you break your fast a certain way, or just eat whatever you want to break your fast? So H. Gordon, here's the thing. Yes, I do structure the way I eat, the way I break my fasts. I will say in the past, I didn't really have much of a structure. I ate whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, but I've structured it differently over time because I feel like it's part of my mindset. It's part of changing or rewiring the thing in my brain to say, maybe you should eat better. Maybe you should structure things better. But I will say, even in the past, when I ate whatever I want, I still lost weight. For example, yesterday, I didn't structure how I ate because I went out to eat, and the very first thing I broke with yesterday was beer. Literally beer and tater tots, and then pizza and mozzarella sticks. That's what I broke my fast with. So that wasn't really structured, but I did come home and then I ate my structured meal, which is a big salad. And then so if I don't eat out, I usually will eat 2 pounds of vegetables and like a pound of protein. So big ass salad, 2 pounds of vegetables and protein, and then fruits and maybe other vegetables, but usually fruits. I really like eating cottage cheese lately. So I eat a lot of more like organic food, I guess you could say. Italian sausage isn't really organic, but you know, more or less, I try to stick with meat and vegetables at the beginning, and then I will add fruit, cottage cheese I really like to eat, and then I eat the junk food, the processed food, if I'm still hungry, which I usually am. I mean, I will eat nuts. I love eating cashews. I love eating macadamia nuts, but that's where I'll also start eating. Like, I love eating tortilla chips with guacamole and salsa. I love eating, I do eat chicken tenders, which are just like deep fried or, you know, breaded chicken tenders, I mean, and I'll cook those in the oven. And then I eat dessert, which is usually pumpkin pie. If you guys know me, or if you watch my episodes of Refeed, that's usually how I structure the way I eat. So, yes, to answer your question, yes to both. Sometimes I'll eat whatever I want, but when I'm eating at home, I structure the way I eat. And I don't structure it that way because I don't eat a salad because I hate eating a salad. I actually love eating a salad. I don't eat Brussels sprouts and Italian sausage because I hate it. I love it. It's some of my favorite things to eat. And I love eating those things first because I know they fill me up, and I know that for the most part they're healthier. I mean, I add extra dressing, I add extra croutons, but that's what I like, and it works, and I lose weight. So, okay, next question here. Oh, this wasn't a question. Anir says, if we are trying to rewire our brain, this is from my video yesterday. If we're trying to rewire our brain to fast longer, why don't we rewire our brain to eat food that is nutritious to us, meat and veggies? Thus, we don't need to fast. So here's the thing: is I agree with this. I think yes, it's important to rewire our brains to do good and healthy things, and this is part of it. Rewiring our brain also involves trying to eat better. And just like I said, I have been structuring the way I eat a lot better than I have in the past. I also have been rewiring my brain to tell myself it's okay to have a longer eating window, but just be a little more mindful of how much you're eating because that's going to be a long window. So I am rewiring my brain that way. I think we all know that eating processed foods is not the way to go. I think we all know that. And that is why I do talk about how I eat a lot of vegetables and protein at the beginning of my meals. So that is always in my head. That is part of what I'm doing, which is why rewiring my brain is also exercising, doing cardio, lifting weights, sleeping well, right? These are all good things. These are the things that I'm telling myself to do. This last part here says, thus, we don't need to fast. This is the only part where I disagree. I think all of us can benefit from some type of fasting. We all fast as it is already when we go to sleep. We're already fasting then. We should be fasting for as long as we're sleeping, which should be around 7 to 8 hours, is my guess, right? So we're already fasting at that point. There are benefits to fasting even longer than that. I don't have to explain all those benefits. You can do a little research and see the positive effects of fasting, not only losing weight, but autophagy and just all the other things that kind of come with fasting in general. So, again, for someone like me, because I eat as much as I do, I'm always going to need to fast. You might be saying, well, maybe you can control how much you eat. And yeah, maybe that's something that can happen in the future, but right now it isn't. And I don't know if it ever will be. And to be honest with you, I'm okay with that. I'm okay that when I hit my maintenance goal, my fasting regimen will be to eat every 42 hours, technically or practically an alternate day fast. And I'm good with that. I can fast for 90 hours. You guys have seen it for the last 4+ months and be fine. I know that I can do alternate day fasts and be okay, and probably be more than okay because I'll have more food and more energy, and I can probably start even lifting heavier at the gym. So, yeah. I don't know if there was another. Okay, there is one more after this, and then I will go through questions that you guys ask. And I went through this because a lot of people asked this. Did you lose? I'm guessing this question is asking if I have loose skin. the answer to this is yes. Doesn't look like you have loose skin, but yes, I do have loose skin. And I don't really show it because I'm insecure about it. If I'm being honest, I'm self-conscious about it. I do have loose skin. I do have loose skin here on my neck. I mean, you can see it here where it kind of wrinkles up. I have loose skin here, like right under my chin too. This is actually where I feel most self-conscious because it's visible. I have loose skin on my upper arms, and you can kind of see it here, right? Wow, that's actually weird that I'm showing you guys this because this is something I normally don't show. But I do have loose skin like up here, and it's worse the higher up it goes. You see, you can see it right there, right? But I have the most loose skin on the lower portion of my belly, and on my upper inner thighs. That is where the loose skin is the most. I don't have plans to do anything about loose skin right now. Actually, what I'd love to do first, and I said this, I think last week or the week prior, is I want to make sure that I maintain this weight. So once I hit 140, my plan is to stay 140 for a year and then consider if I want to figure out anything when it comes to my loose skin. The only things that I really think about doing anything to is my neck. And I have thought about maybe my upper arms, because usually if I wear t-shirts, they'll be shorter than this. And like, that's, if I lift this up, see, you can see, wrong way here. The loose skin is more apparent here, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I can't believe I just shared that. But you know what? I feel like I've been sharing a lot more with myself. And I think that's part of my self-confidence. And I think that's part of therapy, like learning more about myself and being okay with that. And the more transparent I can be with you guys, I think the more important, or the more important it shows that I care about what I'm doing, and that I care about the wellness of all of you, and hoping that I can help all of you reclaim your health and reclaim your life. So, okay, I'm gonna scroll back up here. Oh man, I don't know how far. Now I don't know if, hey, Dan Tana. I always say hi to Dan Tana because Dan and I go way back. Oh God, I think I can't remember now the last thing where I said I was gonna go up. So I'm just gonna go up and just try to figure out where the question started. So if I miss your question, just maybe try to re-ask it, because I'm probably not. Where are the questions at? Oh my God, I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, here's a question. Stephen Rico, hi from Lombard. Well, nice to see another Chicago suburb guy here. I can't. Yes, you're still a Chicagoan, a Chicago metro person. I'm from the city, so I have trouble when. Anyway, I'm not. Stephen, how's it going? Again, I know we've talked before, right? How much would you say mental stability contributed to backsliding and falling away from the eating lifestyle and leaving YouTube after losing the weight? A ton. Actually, my mental health is the number one reason. I mean, yeah, stress eating, emotional eating is the real technical reason, but stress eating and emotional eating is a mental thing. It played the most major part. So yeah, not only did it contribute, but it is the sole reason that I gained all the weight back. Because think about this. At that time, I was at 140 pounds. That was like my maintained weight, which is what I'm aiming for again. I was 140 pounds, and I had maintained that weight for about half a year. And think about that for a second. I was doing this for an extended period of time, took all that time to lose that weight from September 2019. And I think I left YouTube around, was it June or July of 2021, something like that. And I worked that hard to lose all that weight just to gain it all back. and leave YouTube completely. That is more of a mental thing than anything else, because if I was mentally stable, if my mental health was in a better place, I would have fought through that hiccup, fought through that bump, maybe gained a little weight, but I would have come back and figured it out. The thing is, though, if you looked at videos right before I left, I was already starting to struggle. I was already having issues there, and I was having a hard time getting back on the wagon. And what ended up happening back then is I was trying to do longer fasts to make up for the back to back days I was eating. I don't know why this happens. I don't, I keep seeing that. Sometimes it's just a random thumbs up. Anyway, yeah, so hopefully that's helpful, Stephen. It is such a mental game. And for someone like me who has issues with mental health, like, yeah, that was really tough for me. And I feel like my mental stability is so much better now because I've been going to therapy. I keep saying I've been going to therapy for over a year, but I know it's longer than that at this point. I just have to track back to how long I was going to therapy for. Also, for those that don't know, at one point I was seeing two therapists. I mean, I was going through a lot, and I'm just very thankful that I have gotten the help that I needed. Before I go through other questions, there is a huge super chat here. It's from DMMX1 with a $20 super chat with nothing to say. DMMX1, thank you for such a huge and generous super chat. Last week, I think it was last week, he donated $100, which is crazy. Thank you for the support. Thank you all for the support. Thank you for the generous donation. Thank you for another huge donation after already giving a huge one before. So DMMX1, thank you so much. I have such a hard time saying that. And now I have to scroll back up because, oh man, I feel like I lost. Okay, what I'm going to do is anyone, okay. Oh God, sorry guys. I'm trying to find how far up I went, and I think I went too far up. Okay, I'm just gonna try to find questions. Sorry. Oh, okay, Simi. I mean, this is an easy one. Simi Davis, Simi Sings asks, "Hi Jerome, are you still in therapy?" Yes, I am. Do you go to therapy while fasting? Yes, I do. I even let my therapist know if I'm fasting. My therapist isn't the biggest supporter of my fasting, but I get it. She's a little worried because she's the one who identified my all or nothing personality, and she knows that fasting is very much kind of an all or nothing fasting is kind of an all or nothing activity, right? You're either eating or you're not eating. But that's a gray area. But yeah, I have it rough talking about what I'm doing. Oh, with your therapist. Yeah, that's something that is probably going to vary from therapist to therapist. I mean, even though I've lost all this weight and she's seen it happen, because my therapist has seen me at my heaviest, and now she's seen me at, well, my smallest. And she isn't, she's not like, great job, keep fasting. She isn't like that at all. She's more worried about, is this contributing to my all or nothing personality? And that's why I bring these topics up. That's why I talk about it, because I bring it up because I know that I need to deal with these issues. That might be something that you might need to deal with too as you're going through therapy. Hopefully things get better. Yeah, I mean, it was rough for me. I mean, even when I brought it up, I was scared to tell her, but like, I don't want to lie to her. So, okay, I need to scroll back down because there's another super chat from Victoria Rosauda. Hopefully I said that right. Victoria, thank you for the $10 super chat. Thank you for the generous donation. Jerome, thank you so much for sharing your journey and being an inspiration. Victoria, thank you. Thank you for your support. I know I've seen you here before. I'm guessing you might have donated before, but Victoria, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Before I can even get to my next question, Dino with a $20 super chat. Dino, thank you so much for a huge, generous donation as well. Thank you. I appreciate it. Please, please list everything you drink during your fast, including diet soda, etc. My pleasure, Dino. Dino, I get asked this question a lot, and I think I talk about it on almost every stream. So, what do I drink during my fast? 1, water. 2, I drink iced coffee, or I drink like an iced cold brew almost every morning. I like drinking iced because I like to eat the ice too. When I drink black coffee or iced coffee, or I drink cold brew, I drink it black. I don't add any sweeteners to it. Just I enjoy drinking black coffee. I will also drink hot tea. I don't add any sweetener either, just hot tea I've been drinking, and I like drinking iced tea, also unsweetened. I don't add anything to it. And I like ice also because I like eating the ice. And yes, I drink diet soda. I hate calling it soda, but you put it here. Yes, I drink diet pop. I'm from Chicago. It's pop, not soda. I drink diet pop. I drink diet Coke. I drink diet Pepsi, although I prefer diet Pepsi over diet Coke, which used to not be a thing. I used to like diet Coke more. I drink diet Dr. Pepper. I'll drink diet root beer. I mean, I'll drink stuff that's diet, but I won't drink when I'm fasting. I won't drink a diet Mountain Dew because diet Mountain Dew, they add orange juice to it. You need to check those 20-ounce bottles sometimes, because if you look at a diet Mountain Dew can, 12-ounce can, it'll say 0 calories. But if you look at a 20-ounce, it says 5 calories, because I think they're allowed to say 0 if it's only a certain size, which I think is misleading. So I never drink those. I do drink them after I break a fast. But yeah, that's pretty much what I drink. Also, I want to just put this out there. You don't have to drink diet pop. I know a lot of people don't like to drink it because of the chemicals in it, and I totally get that and I totally understand that. But I drink it because it helps me get through my fast. It's something that I try to be better about, but that's just what I drink. Dino, I hope that answers your question. Thank you for the support. Thank you for such a huge donation. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Can I go back to questions? I can go back to questions. Okay. Let me scroll back up. I think I was, okay. So after Simi, Mojangles. Hi, Mojangles. Hey, I'm not sure if you answered this, but do you take any salts when fasting? Okay, this is a good question too. So, Mo, back when I first started fasting, yes, I took electrolytes. I probably didn't take as much electrolytes as people say you should. Especially back then, I would just put like salt under my tongue and that would be it. I did buy potassium. I use no salt, which is a salt alternative, and that's potassium. And I would put that under my tongue as well. And I also would have magnesium citrate in capsules, and I would take that. I think I took 3 capsules a day, but not all the time. That was in the past. Here's the thing, and I think for a lot of people, you might not know this, but for the last, I don't know how long now, 2 months or so, I stopped taking electrolytes altogether. I don't take any kind of electrolytes at all at this point. Unless I'm fasting for over 100 hours, then I'll still put a pinch of salt under my tongue. But for the most part, no. I can fast for 90 plus hours and take 0 electrolytes and I'm fine. I think part of that though might be because I am eating such huge amounts and maybe I'm getting all my nutrients that way. But at this point, I don't even take electrolytes while I'm fasting. So just FYI. Bojangles, thank you for thank you for the question. This is not a question, but Dan Tana, I don't know if Dan's still here. I thought you were 6'4", Jerome. Damn camera angles. Dan, you know I'm nowhere near that height at all. Let me scroll down here. Okay. Let me see what other questions are here. Oh, okay, there's Steven's question. Simi says, how's your water intake? Do you have a goal of how much water each day? Here's the thing too, just like electrolytes, I don't take electrolytes when it comes to water and how much I drink. I don't count. I don't count how much water I drink. It's crazy to me sometimes that I'll like watch, or at least in the past, people drink, I don't know, whatever water per day. And I get that. I mean, I understand it's important to hydrate, but I drink only as I'm thirsty. I don't drink a certain amount of water per day. I don't think I'm drinking too little water though, but I feel like I drink enough, especially with all of the working out I do. I drink I drink to whenever I'm thirsty. It's also why I don't really count calories unless I'm doing episodes of Refeed. When I start doing stuff like that, I feel like I'm overwhelming myself, and I don't want to do that. That's why even with electrolytes, I'm not, if I feel okay, I feel okay, and that's kind of how I leave it. But yeah, I don't drink a certain amount of water. That's not really a thing for me. So, um, Jonathan Mickles. Hi, Jonathan. How's it going? Um, for maintenance, how will you fast? I think you mentioned that you'd maintain, but will it still be 90 plus hour fasts? So, no, it won't be 90 plus hour fasts because once I hit goal weight, which is 7.6 pounds away, if I continue to do 90 plus hour fasts, I would still continue to lose weight. So, no, I won't be doing that at all. I will be doing alternate day fasts. I'll be doing 42-hour fasts. That is my maintenance plan. And my goal is to eat around 42 to 4,500 calories, I think. I don't know about that number for sure. But if I do overeat, then that's probably where I'll implement a 65-hour fast or maybe even another 90. But for the most part, my plan is to do alternate day fasts and just document that journey. But you're going to see that. I'm going to be very transparent about it. Actually, I'm probably going to have to post more because I'm going to be eating every other day and just updating people on like, yep, I'm still 140. Yep, I'm still 140. Or if I'm not, then it's going to be a matter of, okay, this is what I'm going to do to adjust my weight. I really cannot wait to get onto maintenance because I want to show people it can be done. GoFat Ninja asks, how do you get friends, family on board with you fasting? You can't. I mean, I don't want to sit here and tell you that there's some kind of magic thing you can tell them. There are probably things that you can tell them that might ease their thinking of when it comes to fasting, but I don't even, you know what? It's so weird because at this point, everyone, my family, even my friends who know me, they're so used to me fasting because I've been doing it for so long. The funny thing is with my friends, every time we talk about going out to eat or doing something social, they're like, well, you need to tell us when you're eating. So nobody questions it. I think they're used to it. I think they know that I feel better, that I continue to lose weight, and they know that I'm social when I'm doing this. So I think they support me in that way because I've shown them I can do it. My mom, my mom doesn't even my mom, when I talk to her, she's like, when are you eating next? That's what she asks me. When I first started doing it, I think she had some concerns, but I don't really talk about it much with people unless they ask specifically. I mean, sometimes I'll share it if people ask me what I do for work or whatever. And a lot of times now I'm like, yeah, I do stuff on YouTube. I create content. I will coach people. And then that conversation comes up. But I don't know if you can ever really get people on board. I think that in a lot of ways, people might not agree with it, but only you know your body better than anyone else. So maybe people in chat can help you and give you some tips and advice. And I feel like this is something I might have given tips and advice to people before, but at this point, I own it. Like I fast. And if you don't like it, I can't convince you. Here's the thing. I'm not here to convince you. I really am not. I'm here to help people understand why I fast. So maybe that's the thing, but I'm not going to sit and explain to people why I fast unless they really want to hear it. But if someone is going to just tell me they disagree or they'll tell me I'm starving myself, then I'll let them say it because they don't know. And the thing I think about too is, would I rather be the weight I'm at right now, or would I rather be 220, diabetic, high blood pressure, no energy, can't sleep well, losing relationships, losing friendships, not being, why is this thumbs up keep happening? Is it because I just did this? I don't, that's what's happening. It's because I'm doing motion cues. Oh my God, that's why it's doing this. How do I turn this off? Oh my God. Wait, so if I do this, will it give me a thumbs down? No. But it did it before. I saw it. Whatever. Okay. Let's stop this. Okay, I'm Go Fat Ninja. I hope that's helpful. I have to scroll back. You guys with these donations. Oh my God. Hold on. Where am I at here? I don't want to miss anyone. Okay. Uh Abdi. Abdi again with another $5 donation. Abdi, thank you so much. Abdi Karani. Hopefully I said that right, Abdi. Nice small shirt. Congrats. Thank you, Abdi. With your motivation, I lost 35 pounds in the last month. That's amazing. Congratulations to you. 35 pounds. Guys, congratulations. Show some props for Abdi for losing that much. Ramadan fast starting soon. How to lose on OMAD. You know, Abdi, this is really interesting because I have actually been coaching a couple people who have talked to me about Ramadan. And Ramadan, I feel like Ramadan I know is a spiritual thing. And there's also celebration when it comes to eating. How to lose on OMAD. So here's the thing, Abdi, is if you plan to do OMAD during Ramadan, a lot of it is just going to be based. Think about your levers of weight loss. Think about if you're exercising that day. I know that's going to be tough too, because during Ramadan, you're not going to be drinking anything for a certain period of time as well. So that might be out of the picture, is how much exercise you're exerting, but maybe it's exercise early in the morning while you can still drink, right? And that's maybe when you do it. But if you're planning to still lose weight during Ramadan by doing OMAD, I think a lot of it is going to come down to your diet lever, right? That lever of when you're eating. And maybe what you're going to need to do is just control how you're eating. Maybe it's to eat less carbs, right? And maybe eat more protein, or just kind of in your head mentally count the calories and make sure you're just kind of keeping an even keel. That's tough. It is tough. There's a lot tied to it. So I know that makes it harder in general. That might be really the only advice I have for you, but I actually am a little curious how you might figure this out. So if you have ideas, write them in the comments and I'll read them later, or write it in the chat and I'll read it later. But I'm interested. I have been asked this question during some of my coaching sessions, and that's kind of how I come up with some of my thoughts when it comes to that. Abdi, thank you for the $5 donation. Thank you again for the support. I mean, you've supported before, and it means a lot to me. So thank you so much. Laid by Nish, you guys with these gigantic donations. Laid by Nish with the $20 donation, who I know has supported also in the past. Hey, Jerome, I'm still struggling with my fasting journey, but you always give me hope. Laid by Nish, first of all, thank you again for the support. I don't know if you started watching this from the beginning, but I think this stream is very similar or to what you're talking about right now. So hopefully if you watch this from the beginning, or you haven't, maybe watch it from the beginning or watch it again to talk about how to just get started when it comes to fasting and hitting that fasting timer. So please keep me posted on how you're doing. Let me know. Thank you again for such a huge donation. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. And then Scott Moore, Scott with a $20 super sticker. Scott, I will look at this later to see what that super sticker is. Thank you for such a huge, generous donation as well. You guys, with all these donations, also a $20 donation with nothing to say but a sticker. I just thank you so much. It means a lot to me. I appreciate you, Scott. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for all the support, all the donations. I don't know what else to say except it means a lot to me. So thank you. Okay, I'm going to scroll back up here and try to answer a couple more questions before we kind of call it. Okay, where am I at here? Okay, I think I'm back. When working from home, how do you not eat everything in the house given your history? I just don't. Okay, I'll answer it this way. I've said this before. When I know I'm fasting, there's nothing that stops me. When I know I'm fasting, I don't bargain with myself when it comes to should I eat today? I don't even let the little voice in my head try to convince me otherwise. That's easier said than done. I've had moments over the last 4 months where my brain has tried to tell me you need to eat. But it's weird saying that now because before in the past, I would keep no food in the house when I would fast. Now I have food everywhere. I have pie in the fridge. I have chips sitting on my counter right now. I have peanut M&Ms in one of my cupboards. I have cashews, macadamia nuts. I have Italian sausage sitting in the freezer, cottage cheese in the fridge. I have random food everywhere. And I've gotten used to just telling myself, you're not eating today. When I get up in the morning, there's no bargaining with myself. That's really the easiest way I can put it. I don't bargain with myself whatsoever. I'm just not eating. I know I have a fast to complete. I know I have goals to get to. I know I have to be accountable and show everyone that I'm still continuing on my journey. And that's what's helpful for me is that accountability. I said this earlier in my stream, but that accountability, being accountable on YouTube, I think is one of the biggest things for me when it comes to success. And that's why when I talk about coaching and I talk about accountability coaching, I think for a lot of people, that's what they're looking for. They need someone to feel they can be held accountable to. So, yes, that's kind of what helps me make sure I just don't go to the fridge or go to the cupboard and eat everything in sight. Okay. Fashionably Cat asks, do you drink coffee? Yes, I did say this earlier. Maybe I answered this while you were here already. Do you add creamer? I do not. Completely black. Also, how much diet soda do you typically drink during a fast? I mean, during my fast, I usually drink a can a day, sometimes two. Some days I don't drink any at all. I I will say I usually drink coffee almost every single day, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Some days I drink more than 2 cans of pop, but I don't really think about it too much. I try to limit that more than anything else, but I have a hard time with that. But yeah, so hopefully that's helpful. Thanks for the question, Fashionably Cat. Karen Thomas asks, what fasting app do you use? I use the Zero app, but I don't use the paid version. I will be honest with you. I use the Zero app because I like it aesthetically over the Life app, but I really hate the Zero app because all it does lately is just it keeps asking me to pay money to it, and I hate that. It's annoying. I don't want to pay anything for a timer. I don't want to use anything else except the timer function on it. Adesh asks, what does your workout routine look like for these days? How do you plan it out so that you don't get too tired from the workout? Here's the thing, Adesh. I know it sounds crazy, but my workout routine is I walk at least an hour a day, but lately my walks are anywhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours. What I do almost every morning is I walk to the gym, which is about a half-hour walk. I walk to the gym, half hour. I go to the gym and I lift weights, and I'm there for about 30 minutes tops. And I do 3 different sets of exercises. So 9, am I saying that right? I do 3 different exercises, 3 sets of each. So I do about 9 sets, anywhere between 12 to 16 reps, sometimes 8 to 12. I don't lift super heavy. I do 2 body parts. And now I've been switching up body parts, like mixing them up as well. I don't lift super heavy. And then after I lift, I go for another hour walk or an hour and a half walk. And I can do that when I'm 25 hours fasted. I can also do that when I'm 75 hours fasted. I've also done it when I'm 100 plus hours fasted, and I feel fine. But that's because I've built my fasting muscle. I've built myself to do that. I haven't always been able to do that. That's just something that's taken time for me to do. How do I plan it out so that I don't get too tired? So that's the thing. When I first started doing this, I wasn't lifting weights. I was just walking, and I wasn't doing any kind of long walks. They were just shorter walks. Maybe even back then they were half-hour walks, maybe less than that. You're only going to know until you do it. But maybe don't go too hard at the beginning. Maybe at the beginning, just go for a 20-minute walk. See how you feel. If that 20-minute walk feels fine, then you can up it the next time. But also, you need to see how long you can fast for before you're like, this is too much. So hopefully that helps, Adesh. I know I might have went a little too far into it, but yeah. Okay. Fashionably Cat asks, how do you have time for fasting, lives, work, friends, etc.? I mean, I make it work. I'm a very busy person lately, and I've now been adding my social life with it too. I will say, because I don't work a typical 9 to 5 and I work as a freelancer, my time is my time. My time in the morning to work out is my time. And usually that takes like 2.5 hours to do, but I control that. So yeah, I mean, that's probably a big thing. If I was working an actual 9 to 5, I would have to really figure things out. I would probably have to give up a lot of my freelance work. I probably couldn't post as many videos as I did on YouTube. Sometimes I look at full-time work still, because doing YouTube is still not enough for full time, but I feel like I might be getting close, which is nice to see. And if I can do this full time and my only job is to help people and be healthy, oh my God, that would be a dream for me. But yeah, at this point, I'm just trying to do what I can. And I just try to fit things where I can. I have had very busy days lately, and I kind of like it. I feel like I'm just actually, because I fast, I think it gives me more time, because I'm not thinking about what I'm eating. I'm not thinking about when my next meal is going to be. I'm not thinking about having to meal prep or do anything like that. I only worry about that once every 4 days. That might change once I eat every other day, and I'm going to have to worry about it once every other day, but maybe I find a system there too. So I know that might not be the best answer to the question, but that's kind of what's been happening with me now. Veggie Nana Love asks, it would be nice if you do stats for your blood glucose. It would be nice. It would be nice if I also checked my blood glucose. I was supposed to go to the doctor February 15th, but I ended up having to go to LA, and I have not rescheduled a doctor's appointment since. That's on me. I need to do that. So you're right. I would love to do that. And actually, once I get my blood work, I think that's when I'm going to start doing this. I need to. I mean, I just need to do it. So I feel you. I feel you. Mrs. Williams says, can you clarify what you drink and how much you drink during your fast? I answered those questions earlier, so hopefully you were here earlier. If you didn't, you're just going to have to kind of go back a little bit, because I'm not going to answer it a second time. Simi asks, do you know your blood type? I actually don't. I'm not sure what my blood type is at. Michaela, hey Jerome. Hey Michaela, how is your water intake? I did answer that earlier too. I don't count how much I drink. I just drink whenever I'm thirsty. I'm giving my body enough, and that's probably why I'm breaking earlier than my goal. Oh, I don't think I'm giving my body enough. I mean, if that's what you think and you need more, then drink more and see how that works. But if it isn't, these are the things that I was talking about earlier. It's building that fasting muscle. It's just hitting that timer again. It might be frustrating, it might be discouraging because you keep doing it over and over and you're not hitting your numbers that you want to, but that is where you need to start building that discipline. That's where you need to start asking yourself the real questions like, am I really hungry? Do I really need to eat this? Am I going to die if I don't eat right now? Those kind of questions. You need to look at your goals and figure, am I doing what I need to do to get to my goals? And if you're not, you're just going to have to repeat the process over and over until you get to that point. Okay. Let me see here. I'm just looking for question marks. And guys, I probably will have to kind of wrap this up in a little bit. Sarah F says, how can you stop sabotaging and exploiting fasting as an eraser tool and gain focus back instead of using it to undo what I binged? Okay, let me reread that. How can you stop sabotaging and exploiting fasting as an eraser tool? Oh, I see. And gain focus back instead of using it to undo what I binged. So I totally get this question. What Sarah F is asking is something I have done before where I'll binge or I'll eat back to back days. And then I try to answer those binging days by saying, now I'm going to fast for 7 days because I fucked up and I ate so bad that now I need to fast for a week. That is a slippery slope. That is something that you really do have to get your head out of, because that isn't the answer to doing what you need to do, especially if you're trying to fast for an extended period of time and you haven't done it before, or you're trying to do an extended fast and it's not something that you're comfortable doing. You're not going to get results that way because you're probably just going to cycle through this again and again. This might be where you start slow. Sabotaging is something that I think a lot of us do that we don't know or really have an answer for. I have started to realize that I think I used to sabotage because I really just wanted to eat, because I felt what I was doing was too hard and I just really wanted to eat. Or I was really lazy and I didn't want to exercise. And instead, I just wanted to get the high of eating. And that's the reality of it. That's the reality that I think I haven't been able to admit until recently. When it comes to binging, the interesting part when I binged in the past is, especially when I would binge day after day after day, is I started to notice that binging wasn't enough for me. When I would binge at the beginning, I would eat, I would try to eat healthy, but then I would just binge with shitty food. But then the longer I would binge, the more the food had to be richer, the more the food had to be sweeter, the more tired I got of other junk food. It was like my brain needed an even bigger high. It needed even sweeter. It needed even fattier. It needed even more processed. It's that addiction to food that just got worse and worse. And I guess to really get back to your question, because this is a heavy question. This is something that maybe not everyone experiences, but for someone like me, this hits home. This hits hard for me because it's something that I have done so many times in the past. I think the only answer that I can give you is coming to terms with this happening and learning to hit the fasting timer. Don't give up on that timer. Don't put the app away. Don't don't quit. hit that fasting timer again. Have your refeed. Enjoy your refeed. I give myself a window of eating because I know that if I don't give myself a window of eating, I'm going to eat the entire day. That window of eating, as bad as this sounds, that window of eating is my opportunity to eat whatever I want, to eat as shitty as I want if I really want to do that. That is my time. And I said this yesterday in my video, to let the demons in, right? To let that part of my brain get its high, if you will. That isn't the answer. It isn't, but that's what helps me. And that's what's continued to help me to lose this weight. As I have been doing this time and time again, it's giving me time to understand myself and maybe pick up my brain a little more and figuring out those issues. And anytime I come up with a revelation, I want to be able to share it here with you. So, and not just you, Sarah, but anyone else here who's watching and paying attention to this. So, this is a very heavy topic and it's not the easiest to talk about, but hopefully some of that is helpful. Okay. Dirty Fasting Life says, if you're overweight, do you think that 15 pounds per month is a good amount of weight to lose? This is going to vary from person to person. This is going to vary on your age and your height and your weight, how overweight you are, how obese you are. I mean, I lost 70 pounds in 4 months, and I know that the very first 50, the very first 30 came at a much quicker rate. 70 pounds in 4 months for me, what is that? 17 pounds, something like that. And it was much quicker before as well. I don't know if it's a good amount of weight to lose. I really don't know. I don't know if there's a number that's a good amount of weight to lose. I really think the answer here is don't worry too much about what that number ends up being. I think you might overthink that. I think the real question you want to ask yourself is it something that I can do that's sustainable? Is it something that I can do that's consistent? Is it something that I can do that isn't going to feel like it's torture? You guys might be sick of me saying this, but I really want to pound that point down. It isn't a race. I know a lot of us want to hit a certain weight by a certain amount of time, but the longer you keep telling yourself that, and the longer you keep waiting, or the longer you keep restarting instead of just doing, even if it's a short fast, yeah, I know it's not the answer you want to hear. I didn't give myself a certain number to get to. I just knew that, hey, this is the weight I want to be at whenever I get to that weight. It just happened to go by a lot quicker than I thought. But again, a lot of that is because I've had the experience in the past to really figure that out. So, Dirty Fasting Life, thank you for the question. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Karen Thomas asks, do you drink apple cider vinegar? I don't. No. I mean, I think I tried to when I first started fasting. I don't like it, and I don't drink it now. Sorry guys, I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. I think I might be good. Oh, here's one. And sorry if I've missed anything along the way. Fasted and fulfilled. For the beginner faster, what are some of the things you should tell yourself on a fast day to keep going and staying consistent? Sorry, I like to cross my legs sometimes and sit on my chair. Also, this stream is so much longer than I thought it was going to be. But I appreciate all of you guys being here, and it's so nice to be able to just talk to you guys and answer questions when I can. So for the beginning faster, what are some of the things you should tell yourself on a fast day to keep going and staying consistent? As I answer this question, anyone in chat too, please feel free to help give support and share whatever questions you can answer too, because I think that's really helpful for people to see that as well. I mean, some of the things you should tell yourself on a fast day to keep going and staying consistent is, for me, I look at the goal at hand. I look and tell myself, this is where I want to be. This is where I know I can be. I tell myself things like, I know I'm not going to die just because I'm hungry, right? You should know the difference between hunger and starving. And if you can function throughout the day, if you can function throughout the day and you feel good and you don't feel like you're going to collapse and you're just hungry, it's going to pass. Those are one of the things you can tell yourself too, is the hunger will pass. At the same time, you can also tell yourself that the food will always be there. You don't have to eat that food right now. It will always be there. Yeah, maybe that particular food won't be there right now because it'll spoil or whatever, but the food will always be there. You can go get that food anytime you want later. I do this weird thing in my head when I work out, when I'm on my long walks and I have time to think to myself. I do this thing where I just start. This is weird. I don't know why I'm sharing this. When I weighed around 220 and I go for my walks, and I still do this sometimes, I just start saying random weight numbers in my head, or I'll even say it, I'll whisper it to myself on my walk. So when I weighed around 220, I'm like 210, 200, 190. And I would say that because I was like, it was like I was telling myself, I'm going to weigh this one day. And I do still say that. I mean, I think I might have done it earlier today where I'm just like, yeah, 140. Like I'm going to be 140. I don't know why I do it. I don't know if it's just force of habit, because I think I've been doing that for a long time. It's like imagining myself being at that weight, and that's kind of helpful for me. But yes, all the other things I said too. Those are just a couple things. I'm sure there's a ton I'm missing, and that's why I asked chat to kind of chime in. So, okay. I'm just looking for question marks. Simran, I think, was maybe asking the chat, did anybody have any side effects from eating less and fasting multiple days each week? I mean, I've shared this. I've had side effects in the past, but I don't have them anymore. I used to get headaches, and I think that was more carb withdrawal than anything else. I did feel weak sometimes, and that's when I first started taking electrolytes. But even after not fasting for 2.5 years, I started taking electrolytes again because it's been so long since I've fasted. ADF Panda says, bro, how much weight do you gain after refeeds? Bro, let me show you. I know I have it here. Bro, this is how much weight I gain after refeeds. Here are 29 refeeds that I have done. Here is the weight I have gained throughout these refeeds. On average, in the last 29 refeeds, I have gained around 4.5 pounds. Hopefully that was helpful. Sorry, I know I kept saying bro just because you said bro. But even though I gained 4.5 pounds per refeed, I have consistently lost weight every single fast. So I have never gained or stayed at the same weight. I have continually lost weight per 90 plus hour fast. Okay. Vicky Yates, hi. Yes, I'm working on this. Jerome, can you please create a chat group for us? I love this community. I am working on this. I've said I was supposed to have this out in January, and it's March now. I'm working on it. I will get this out as soon as I can. It's going to be different, and I think it's going to be great. And I look forward to having this for all of us. Monica Frank asks, Jerome, I did ask you in another live how we can donate. Can you please tell the ones who don't know or how to, the foreign diehard followers? First of all, Monica, thank you for even offering. So if you were talking about super chats and you don't know how to donate there, I actually don't know either because I don't use it. If you're talking about like the Cash App, I know someone asked me for my Cash App before and I gave it to them. but also please know that none of you guys have to do this. So my Cash App, I'm just going to share this here in case you really want to help donate. My Cash App is $ Jerome Finally Fasting, because apparently someone took Finally Fasting as the Cash App, which if somebody did that just so they would maybe hopefully get a Cash App donation that was supposed to go to me, kind of sucks. But that's my Cash App. I don't even know what my Venmo is right now. I think my Venmo might be Finally Fasting. I don't know. But maybe I'll go back to that and maybe I'll start adding that in my like description, or if you guys really want, which is really nice of you guys. I feel bad. You guys don't have to. I appreciate the help or the support anyway. Okay, where am I at? Scott Moore asks, do you use the Mito Mojo monitor? I don't remember. And it's actually in my storage unit and I need to go get it. So yeah. Journey for Enjoyment asks, can you share your daily routine? Yeah, I get up, I work out for 2.5 hours or so. I go to work. My work is physical. I work as a photographer and I walk around a lot and I take photos and I move furniture around and I pose people. And when I do YouTube, I sit a lot. So it's a lot of desk work and a lot of editing, and I will sometimes sit and watch. I pointed this the wrong way. Whatever. I watch this TV and I lay on this couch once in a while. I'm on my phone and I do random things, and that's pretty much my day when I'm fasting, when I'm not eating. That's typically how I do it. I sleep early and I try to sleep a lot, and I'm not the best at it, but yeah. Okay. Have you considered Zevia for a healthier soda? I have. I've actually had it before and it's pretty good. Zevia is just so goddamn expensive, but I really should start mixing Zevia in every couple times I drink pop. Okay, I think that might be it. Would you ever try the carnivore diet while fasting? So Rianne, here's the thing. It's not that I haven't considered carnivore. I have done low carb in the past. I have done keto, I think, in the past. But my problem is when I do any of these kinds of fasts, when I restrict myself from certain types of food, that is usually a trigger for me to binge. Because even after eating a certain amount, even after I feel full, I feel like I'm not satisfied. And so for me, I want to have something dessert wise. I want carbs. I want that. And the way I see it is I am losing weight and I feel good. And I don't know why I wouldn't give myself the opportunity to have that if I wanted to, especially because I only eat once every 4 days. I feel like I've fasted for a good amount of time that I can take this short amount of time to enjoy something in my life. Just like I want to sometimes enjoy having a beer. So that the same reason I want to enjoy eating pizza. I don't want to deprive myself of food forever. I don't want to not be social with friends because I can only eat a certain way. I'm already limiting how often I can eat. And so for me, this is my way of doing it. I'm not saying that you don't have to eat carnivore, right? I'm not telling anyone this. I'm not saying that you can't be a vegetarian, that you can't be a pescatarian or whatever it might be. Do whatever works for you. For me, this is what I do because it helps me mentally, which is a big piece of what a lot of people I think don't think about is the big mental portion, the big mental aspect of doing this. Okay. What is my goal weight? Chevy, I talked about this earlier. My goal weight is 140 pounds. I currently weigh 147.6. I have 7.6 pounds to lose. I'm 90.2% complete. And then I'm going to be doing a maintenance phase. And yeah, Chevy also asks, Did fasting impact your hair growth? No. People have asked this before. Here's the thing. I'm 43. I still have a full head of hair, but my hair is thinning. But I think that's just me getting older. Like it runs in the family. It was something I was going to talk to my doctor about the thinning, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to actually take medication or do anything like that. I mean, I feel fine with the way my hair is. And the thing is, if you guys watch my old videos, a lot of my videos, my head is shaved and I'm okay with that look too. Right now, I'm just trying to grow a mullet. And so I just want the mullet done. I'm going to rock that for a little bit. And then when the mullet's done, I'm probably going to shave my head. And I think I'm just going to keep it that way. So I don't worry too much about hair growth. But yeah, okay. That's all I got for that. Oh, goodness, Chevy, please don't ask the same question 18 million times. I mean, I get it. You want me to answer it, but yeah. Allison asks, are you able to take medication on your long fasts? So I was on metformin for my diabetes. I was on lisinopril for my high blood pressure. At the time, my doctor asked me to get on, I keep saying it wrong, semaglutide or whatever, where I inject myself once a week. And I never took it because I was stubborn. And I was like, no, I can lose this weight by fasting. And I didn't because it took 2.5 years to actually get back on the wagon. But I don't take any medications at this point because I feel like fasting has helped a lot. But that's not the right answer. The real answer is I need to go to the doctor and get my blood work done and really see what my numbers look like. So yeah. Should you take your medication while you're fasting? I cannot answer that for you. I'm not a medical professional. I would hate to give you the wrong advice. That is only something that you can help by going to your doctor and talking to them and figuring out if that's really something you can do. I cannot give you any answers when it comes to that because that would be wrong of me. And I can only give you the answers that work for me or what I've done in my past experience. So yeah. Oh, Monica says, I don't think we foreigners can use the Cash App. I mean, I can maybe share my Venmo or whatever, but I don't think I have either of these listed right now. Let me check real quick. I'll check my Venmo just in case. No, so this one is not. I'll check later. I appreciate it though. Thank you, Monica. I will get in touch. Do you weigh yourself every week? Yvette asks, I weigh myself every day, every morning. Doesn't mean that you should. Some people weighing themselves every day can really be a bad trigger. So you have to be careful with that. Which I guess at this point, I'm 2.5 hours into the stream and this is way longer than I thought. But since we're talking about weighing yourself on the scale, I want to kind of now go through this part here. So I want people to also remember that the weight on the scale doesn't define you. Your weight doesn't define you. Whatever you weigh isn't indicative of the person you are. It doesn't mean you're better or worse than anyone else. That is something that I am still trying to understand and respect. Just because I weighed 220, just because I weighed 235 at my heaviest, doesn't mean that it defined me as a person now. Because I weighed 230 then doesn't mean I'm a better person today at 150 or 147.6. I say this because I want you to respect who you are as a person today. That yes, you might have goals to lose weight, but it shouldn't change the fact that you are as great, that you should love yourself and respect yourself and accept yourself as the person you are today and continue to have great goals in the future, but that me at 235 is still the same person that I am now at 147.6. I think accepting yourself and loving yourself today is a great way to get started on your journey and figure out who you are as a person and learn about personal growth, learn about spiritual growth, learn to be better at being yourself. Because a lot of that is in our heads on how we feel. The last thing I want to put out here, which I have said many, many times, is if you're struggling and you're having a hard time and you feel like you're in a dark place, I want you to know that you're not alone. That's something that took me a long time to learn too, especially when I left YouTube and I was binging and I was hiding from being accountable. I thought I was alone. And as I gained the weight and as I felt worse about myself, I felt nobody was there for me. I felt nobody was going to be able to help me figure out how I was ever going to get myself back into a better, healthy state, both mentally and physically. It took time for me to find a therapist and get the mental help that I needed. But when I talk about not being alone, I talk about that in a way where I want you to know that you're not the only person going through these struggles, that I'm here with you. I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you find success. And that's why I don't hide anything behind a paywall. I don't keep secrets of losing weight. I share everything. I'm completely transparent. I'm completely honest about who I am as a person and what I want to do for people. But I also say this when I talk about not being alone because you guys, you guys are the sole reason that I realize that I'm not alone. Because even in my deepest, darkest times, when I came back on Instagram and I posted that photo of myself on Instagram, that's when I knew I wasn't alone. I mean, I look back at that photo and it has over like 500 likes and the comments are insane on it. So many of you commented. I look back at when I first streamed again after not streaming for 2.5 years and all the support behind it and all the comments, it reminded me that I wasn't alone, that we're doing this together, that we're all here just trying to find our goals of being happy and healthy. So if you're ever feeling down and you feel like you can't get yourself out of that hole, you're not alone. I want to help all of us figure this out. My goal is to help people reclaim their lives, reclaim their health. I want you to have what I have now, is my health back and my life back. I mean, why wouldn't I want that for other people? Why shouldn't all of us have that? Why? We all deserve health and happiness. We all do. That's it. Not yet. Sherry Morgan with a $10 super chat. Sherry Morgan, thank you so much for your help, Jerome. What is a way that you can suggest to stop purging, aka bulimic thoughts? Thank you. Okay, so this is a tough one for me too, because this is something I used to do when I was a teenager, and I don't do it anymore. First of all, Sherry, thank you for being very vulnerable to even share this here. If there are people in chat that have had experience with this, or people in the comments later who watch this after the stream who can help, please feel free to share. What's a way that you can suggest to stop purging? So when I stopped, for me, it just stopped naturally. I just didn't want to do it anymore. I accepted the fact that I was going to be overweight and obese. And I looked at the negatives of purging and how awful it can be on your body, which doesn't mean that binging isn't awful on your body either, because it absolutely is. But this is a very sensitive topic, and I don't have the answers for this. The only answer that I can think of is knowing the negative effect of doing that. It might also be a point where this is where getting mental health is important. I don't even think this is something that I can do on a coaching level to help people figure out. I feel like this is deeper than that. And it would be unprofessional of me and wrong of me to give real advice on how to figure this out. I can only share through experience. Looking at the negatives, yes, is probably one of the things that I can think about. I mean, thinking about really like, this is not something you want to do forever. This is not something that is healthy. I mean, those are things that you probably know. Sometimes it might be helpful to remind yourself of that, but please keep in touch, because if I can find a way to help, I would love to. It would be wrong of me right now to answer it without giving you a proper, real answer. But Sherry, thank you for the support. I really hope you're able to figure out, this specific thing that's happening right now. And please keep me posted. You all of you guys know how to reach me, so please keep me posted. That's it, guys. Remember, you're not alone. You guys have shown me that, and it's changed my life. The least I can do is give it back, which is all I'm trying to do with these videos and these live streams. I'm just trying to give it back. So thank you, everyone. This is going to be it for me. I'm calling it. It's time for me to, it's 9:40. I'm going to go sleep soon. So, all right, guys, I'm officially out of here. I will see you in a couple days. I'll post a new video soon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. And okay, bye.